Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today is a very special day because I am celebrating the 10th birthday of Pretty Pink Posh along with some crafty friends. We're having a blog hop and there is a fabulous new release. All of these are birthday themed products that you can use throughout the year. And I'm going to quickly run you through these products and kind of give you a quick overview. Now, this is not the entire release, but Paulina sent me over a bunch of products and I had a great time playing with all of these. You're going to see several of these products in my projects today, and I will be sharing another product featuring the treat box die, which is the very last thing in this stack, next week. So be sure to stay tuned for that. But for this video, I thought it would be really fun to do kind of like a favorite things all in one post. So this isn't necessarily my favorite tools, but you will see some of those. But I thought I would include my favorite colors. And here I have grapefruit, nectar, salmon, blush pink, sea glass, and peacock. And these are a mixture of cardstocks from Concord and Ninth and the Stamp Market. And then of course, I've pulled out the coordinating ink colors as well. I don't have salmon from the Stamp Market. I'm gonna have to pick that up, but this Do-Si-Do from Catherine Pooler is fabulous. So in addition to my favorite colors, I thought I would also show you all my favorite layouts, and all of the card projects that I feature today are going to feature either this upper center layout or this lower right-hand corner layout. So in addition to favorite colors and favorite layouts, I'm going to include a couple of my favorite techniques as well. And of course, if you've been around here for long, you know that hot foil stamping is one of my favorites. So I'm starting out with this happy birthday hot foil set from Pretty Pink Posh, and I have it warmed up on my Glimmer hot foil system. Once it's heated, I'm going to remove the platform from the base. I'm going to add my champagne hot foil from Spellbinders, and then I'm going to add my Concord and Ninth white cardstock and the shims and run that through, and I have a beautiful foiled image. Now, I did this a few times because I'm going to use it on a couple of different projects today. And then I use the Scripty Happy Birthday coordinating die set to cut out those foiled words. Now here's another favorite, and that's my Rose Quartz Misty Stamping Tool. This is an exclusive from scrapbook.com. And by the way, I will have everything in the YouTube description linked for you so that you can find it. But I'm going to use my Misty Stamping Tool to stamp some sentiments from the Party Time stamp set. And then I'm going to use the coordinating dies to die cut those out. Now, when I created these cards, I actually did it over a period of a couple of days. And on this first day, I concentrated on die cutting a bunch of images, some balloons from the Party Balloons die set, a party hat from the Party Hat die set, and then a cupcake from this big birthday cupcake die set. And then I took all of these die cut and stamped images and I created like little clusters. Then I came back on a different day and I actually added these to card projects. So you're going to see my clothes and my nails change because I got a manicure in between there. But for this party hat, I'm using the striped version, and to keep all of these in order so that it's easy for me to reassemble these, I actually turned my magnetic mat over and removed the mat from the die with the paper still in place. That allowed me to take some mint tape from scrapbook.com. It's a low tack tape, and kind of grab all the stripes and keep them in order for each of these colors that I'm using, because I'm using several colors on these card projects. And when I went back to assemble these party hats, I didn't want to have to dig through and kind of figure out which was the right one to use. Now for the cupcake, I went back and kind of cut the inside out so I can create a shaker with that, another one of my favorite things. And now I'm going to assemble the party hats. Now in this party hat die set, there is a solid shape. So you can die cut that from some white cardstock and then add some liquid glue or other type of adhesive and stack up your stripes in various colors along this base piece. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Now, I obviously die cut several colors of cardstock, so I had enough for several party hats, and I think I ended up assembling 3 or 4 on this day. Now for the pom-pom on top of the party hat, I actually used some matte gold cardstock to die cut the pieces here. And there are 3 different sizes. I actually stacked up all 3 of those sizes and kind of offset them just a little bit so that I could have a fuller kind of pom-pom on top of the party hat. I wanted it to be over the top because if I had a party hat, it would definitely be over the top. Now, once I assembled the party hats, I moved on to the cupcake, and I decided to make a shaker cupcake. So I added my little icing piece to that outer frame image that I die cut from the nectar cardstock. And then I die cut another solid piece of the cupcake frosting from some white cardstock and added a little bit of ballet slipper ink to the bottom just to give it kind of an ombre look. Then I die cut that solid piece again from some acetate, and I added a clear acrylic block over the top of that while the liquid glue set up. Now for the adhesive on this, I am using these thin foam adhesive strips from scrapbook.com, and I have removed the backer from both sides of the strip, so the sticky is actually exposed here. But by removing the backer from both sides, it makes this really flexible, and that allows me to shape it around the curves of this cupcake top. Now, to kind of keep this safe and the adhesive safe while I work on another part, I added it to the backer of this foam adhesive sheet. And then I grabbed some rainbow shimmer confetti from Pretty Pink Posh. I sprinkled it onto that ink blended solid cupcake topper piece. Then I added some liquid glue to the back side of my foam, and I placed it on top of that blended backer piece. And this creates my cupcake shaker element. Now I can just take this and adhere it to the cupcake wrapper. By the way, the outline of this cupcake on the top is cut out of some nectar cardstock. That little frosting drip is cut out of some salmon cardstock. And the base of my cupcake, or the wrapper, is die cut from some sea glass cardstock. I finished that off by adhering a stamped sentiment, and now I am moving on to these adorable party balloons. Now there are so many shapes included in this die set. I absolutely love it because it has a good variety, and then there's dies for the strings as well. So you can see I've die cut them out of all of my favorite colors of cardstock, and now I'm taking the solid piece. So I've actually die cut 3 balloons of each of these colors because they were all connected. I left them connected together so I could die cut 3 balloons at once. And now I'm taking that solid piece and I'm ink blending a little bit of the coordinating ink, kind of coming in from the lower right and adding a little bit of shading to these solid balloons. Then I'm going to take kind of this knockout star pattern balloon and adhere that right over the top. Now there's no ink blending on the star portion, so that's going to make the backer to this automatically a little bit darker and have some shading and dimension and give these kind of a really, I don't know, just a stepped up look. So once I go through and I adhere all of the star balloons on top of the solid balloons, I'm going to die cut the balloon strings from some matte gold cardstock, and I've arranged my balloons on my desk, and I'm just using some of that mint tape once again to kind of hold them all together as I work on adhering the strings. And then I can sneak some liquid glue behind all of these as well to hold them all together. And once they're all held together and I have my strings in place, then I can remove that mint tape because I know everything's going to stay exactly where I want it. And I did sprinkle in some solid balloons on this little balloon cluster as well. So I spent, a couple hours in the craft room kind of putting some elements together. And this is kind of what I ended my day with. You can see I have some foiled pieces in there. And then I came back on another day, and quite honestly, I was getting so overwhelmed by the number of options that I had that I needed to kind of step away to kind of clear my head. So I had a few of these elements put together, but putting them onto a card that day just didn't feel possible because there were so many possibilities running through my mind. So I had my elements, I stepped away for a couple of days, and I came back, and now I'm going to add these onto card projects. And this comes together really quick because I've done a lot of the work already. So for this first card, I am taking an angled piece of sea glass cardstock and adding it to some white cardstock. And then I die cut it using the Pierced Stars Coverplate. This is also brand new from Pretty Pink Posh. And I'm adding my foiled sentiment here. Now, at first glance, you may not look at this and think this is a lower right kind of centered design. But because I have that sea glass cardstock and my balloon strings and my sentiment all kind of clustered at the bottom, this actually falls into that kind of layout that I showed you at the beginning, where I like to cluster things in the lower right-hand corner. Now for the second card project, I am going to use the birthday word stencil here from Pretty Pink Posh. I'm blending on some Nectar ink and mixing it with a little bit of that Do-Si-Do ink to kind of create a circular glow in the lower right-hand corner of this white cardstock. And I am using my Waffle Flower Grip Mat, another favorite, to hold my cardstock and my stencil in place. And then I kind of peeked under the stencil a little bit to make sure, to see if I wanted to add a little more ink, and I did. And when I'm done, I can pull off the stencil, and I have a little die cut vellum circle here that I'm going to add my party hat and my foiled sentiment to. It does have a little bit of foam adhesive on the back so that it has some dimension to it. Then I cut down this stenciled piece using an A2 layering die from Spellbinders, and I die cut another piece of matte gold cardstock that's slightly larger than that rectangle to kind of mat it there. And then I'm going to add that vellum circle into that lower right-hand corner. So this is a little more obvious in that lower right-hand corner design. Now I'm finishing this card off with another favorite, and that is the Pretty Pink Posh Sparkling Clear Embellishment. So this happens to be the confetti, but I also love the sparkling clear sequins as well. I think they're the perfect shiny accent to any color palette, and you can see I have a really fun party hat card ready to go. Now for project number 3, I'm going to do that upper center design. So for this, I'm going to use the Cupcake, and I've just die cut some strips of colored and gold cardstock. I'm using my little T-square ruler there to make sure I get the first one straight across this cardstock. And then I'm going to stack up a few of these kind of in an ombre pattern, and I'll trim off the excess using some scissors. Now I die cut this panel down using an A2 layers die, and then I added my little cupcake right over the top. Now I wanted to bring a little more of that sea glass in, so I die cut a matte layer from sea glass cardstock. I added this onto a white card base, and I'm finishing it off again with some sparkling clear confetti from Pretty Pink Posh. And I love a shaker card, so this is another one of my favorites here. So there you have it, 3 cards featuring my favorite layouts, my favorite colors, some of my favorite techniques, and favorite embellishments, and all of them feature this fabulous new birthday release from Pretty Pink Posh, which is available now. I will have links to the featured products used in these projects in the description at YouTube, so if something interests you, you can check it out there. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this video and these projects are a part of a blog hop celebrating Pretty Pink Posh's 10th birthday. Happy birthday, Pretty Pink Posh. They have always been a favorite of mine. They are constantly coming out with adorable designs. And then, of course, all of those fabulous shaker bits that we need for our shaker cards. So head on over to my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. I'll have that linked below. And over there, you'll find more still shots, more information, a complete list of supplies, as well as information on how to enter to win one of several prizes that Pretty Pink Posh is giving away in honor of their birthday. As always, I want to thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this look at some of my favorite things all in one place, or all in 3 card projects, I should say. If you did enjoy these projects and you enjoyed this video, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here on YouTube so you don't miss any of the paper crafting and card making video tutorials I share here. Thanks again for hanging out with me today. I am so glad you're here. And until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the very end. You know, if you've made it this far, you are also one of my favorite things. To subscribe to my channel, go ahead and click the button on the left side of the screen with my little face on it. And here's a couple more video tutorials I thought you might enjoy.